So the third question which they raised is to know about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his incarnations. And also they wanted to know that Krishna, what is the purpose of his appearance and why he appears in the womb of Mother Devaki as the son of Vasudeva. We have done the 13th and 14th verse both, where the glories of the names, the holy names were mentioned. So we will take the 15th verse today. Dayashil Prabhu, not joined today? Ganesh?
Prabhuji, he is with us here.
Okay.
Satvik Mess.
Okay. Okay. This is the 15th verse. Okay, I'll show the verse on the screen. Manoram Prabhu, you show the verse on the screen. So further the sages are revealing the consciousness in which they have assembled and what is the purpose of their assembly. Yadapa Shraya Sutta Munoyo Prasa Mayana Sadhya Puneti Upasprishtah Swardhanyapo Anusevayaya. So they are inquiring about Yat Pad Samashraya Sutta Muneo. So Pad Samashraya, Ashraya means to take shelter. And Samashraya means one who has completely taken shelter. Samyak Rupena Ashraya is Samashraya. One who has fully taken shelter of what? The Yat Pada, whose lotus feet. So they are glorifying the Lord. You see, while inquiring, what is their expertise? Although they are putting question, but while putting forward the question, they are glorifying the Supreme Lord. They are saying, Yat Pad Samashraya Sutta Muniya Prasa Maneyaha Mayanaha. So, O Sutta Goswami, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them. So they are glorifying, in a way, you see whom they are glorifying? Who are they glorifying? Yeah.
Our previous acharyas and spiritual master.
Yes, one is that. And who else? This is a little subtle, but still it can be understood. Whom are they actually glorifying in this verse? Whose glory are they singing? Yat pas shamashraya sutamnyo prasamayanaha sadhyo puneti upasprishtah swardhuni apaha sevayaha. So they are saying that those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them. Whereas the water of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. So what is the comparison being made? What is the comparison? And whose glory are they singing in this verse? Close the share so that I can see all of you. Holy, I mean, it is not so difficult. Very evident.
प्रभु
Whom are
जी,
we glorifying?
एक क्लास में डिस्कशन हुआ था भक्त पद धुली भक्त
हाँ।
पद भक्त भक्त अवशेष
हाँ। 18
18 महाबल.
This is the Mahabal. Whose bal are they glorifying? Pranav, it's not so much time to be taken.
Supreme Lord Krishna.
No. You have not gone into the spirit of what they are speaking. Manoram Prabhu? Now what is
Yes,
left?
yes, Prabhuji. We have seen that Srila Vyasdev, Narad Muni, and other sages Prabhuji were coming in Parampara. So by taking their help only, understand the glories of the Lord.
They are glorifying directly Suta Goswami. Can't you see?
Yes, Sutta Goswami is also
Yes.
there.
And they are saying your position is so glorious that taking bath in the Ganges that will flow from your mouth is much more powerful to sanctify you than the Ganges which is flowing in the form of its water. See again. O Suta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So who have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord? Sages like Suta Goswami and the predecessors can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them. So who has come in touch with Suta Goswami? All these assembled sages. So in a way they are glorifying Suta Goswami and they are expressing the great privilege and fortune that has come upon them, the benediction that has come in the form of association of Suta Goswami. I heard something which was being spoken by so they are glorifying the presence of Suta Goswami and they are admiring the blessings which has come upon them just by the presence of Srila Suta Goswami. Prabhupada says pure devotees of the Lord are more powerful than the water of the sacred river Ganges. This is how Prabhupada opens the purport. One can derive spiritual benefit out of prolonged use of Ganges water. But one can be sanctified at once by the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that any person, regardless of birth, as Shudra, woman, or merchant, can take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and by doing so can return to the Godhead. Please tell me the verse. Very beautiful verse. From the 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge. Ganesh asked Dolamani Prabhu also to switch on his mobile so that I can see him. Which verse is then from the 9th chapter? Where is Pradeep? Pradeep, you have memorized the 9th chapter?
Yes, Prabhu.
Which verse is this? Any person, regardless of birth, as Shudra, woman, or merchant, can take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and by doing so can return to Godhead. You know the verse? For you it is not possible. Bolo. Priyanka, where are you? Which verse is this? This is talking about birth as a Shudra, woman, or merchant.
Probably this is 9.32, but those words are
You tell me the meaning or the message of the verse?
Prabhuji, Stree, Sudra,
Yeah. You have got
where is their position? They can approach the Lord.
simple. It is saying Shudra, Striya, and third is merchant. What is merchant?
Vaishya.
So this is the verse. Now, who can recite the verse? Pranib? Now it's,
Mamihi Partha Vyapasrita.
yeah. Mami Partha Vipashritya. Same thing. Ashritya. Vyapak Ashraya. That complete shelter. Mami Partha Vipashritya. Ye api syo papa yoniyo. Striyo vaishyo tata shudra. Tepi yanti paramgati. How that is possible, Prabhupada says? To take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord means to take shelter of the pure devotee. This is the key. What it means to take shelter of the Lord, Prabhupada is defining here. Prabhupada is declaring here what it means to take shelter. To take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord means to take shelter of the pure devotee. The pure devotees whose only business is serving are honored by the name Prabhupada and Vishnupad. Very beautiful purport. Which indicates such devotees to be the representative of the lotus feet of the Lord. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhans Parivajikacharya. Or Krishna Kripashi Murti Abhay Charnaravind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So what is the meaning of Prabhupada? Here Prabhupada is defining. Prabhupada or Vishnupad, which indicates such devotees to be representative of the lotus feet of the Lord. Anyone therefore who takes shelter of the lotus feet of a pure devotee by accepting the pure devotee as his spiritual master can be at once purified. Such devotees of the Lord are honored equally with the Lord because they are engaged in the most confidential service of the Lord. What is the verse? That such devotees of the Lord are to be honored equally with the Lord because they are engaged in the most confidential service of the Lord. Which verse is this? Practically every day we recite this verse. What happened to Dayashil? Why can he not come on the screen?
Prabhuji, just now they got the auto. They are in travel, Prabhuji. They will connect.
So he left. साक्षात घरित में ना समस्त शास्त्र. That is the representative. He साक्षात हरित में ना समस्त शास्त्र. उक्तस तथा भाव्यत एव साधु. किंतु प्रभोर्या प्रियेव तस्य. They are engaged in most confidential, loving service of the Lord. For they deliver out of the material world the fallen soul whom the Lord wants to return back to God. This is the process. The Lord cannot uplift anyone directly. And he never does so. Nor he will ever do so. So the via media is only and solely his pure devotees. For they deliver out of the material world the fallen soul whom the Lord wants to return home back to Godhead. So that means what? That the Lord is also dependent on his devotees. This is called Bhakta Vashiyata. This is what Krishna displayed in Vrajabhumi. That he is completely dependent on the desire of his devotees. Such pure devotees are better known as wise lords. Prabhupada's purport. Such pure devotees are known as vice lords. In the English-British rule, there was this term viceroy. You know, viceroys. Who were the viceroys? They were the representatives of Queen Elizabeth. There used to be only one viceroy who was the head of the colonial India. There was no one above him. And who was he representing? He was representing the Queen. So Prabhupada is extrapolating from the same term. He says, such pure devotees are better known as vice lords. Vice. Like you have president and then you have vice president. Isn't it? Are you able to get it? Vice president means who is not president, but he is acting as president at times. According to revealed scriptures, the sincere disciple of the pure devotee considers the spiritual master equal to the Lord. Not everyone. Prabhupada is saying, sincere disciple of the pure devotee considers the spiritual master equal to the Lord, but always considers himself to be the humble servant of the Lord. This is the pure devotional path. Okay, let's go to the next verse, 16th verse. Show the 16th verse, please. को वा भागवतस्य तस्य पुण्य श्लोके देया कर्मणा शुद्धि कामो न शृणुयात् यशा काली मलापहम्. को वा भागवता तस्य पुण्य श्लोकेद्य कर्मणा शुद्धि कामः. So who is there desiring deliverance from the vice of the age of quarrel? And who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the world? Shuddhi kamo na shunaya. Who is wanting to be free from the vice without na shunaya, without willing to hear. Yasho kali malapaha. To hear the virtuous glories of the Lord. Mala means contamination and apaha means to be freed from or to be purified. Or here Prabhupada is saying mala apaha is the agent of sanctification. So what is kali mala apaha? What is kali mala apaha? Yasha shunayat. By hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord, the Kali Malapaham, one will become free from the vices of the age of quarrel and Kali. So who is that person who is desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of the Kali and who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord? Stop this screen share. So this question they are asking. And what is the answer? What is the answer here? They are inquiring who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of Kali Yuga, the ages of quarrel, and who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord. This is a question. What is your response, Ganesh?
Prabhuji, one who want to aspire to become a devotee, they listen, Prabhuji. Aspiring
I am not asking the explanation. I am asking the answer. I have understood the words. I don't need explanation from you to understand what they are speaking. I am asking what is the answer to the question which they are asking. So much deceit we have in our heart. We cannot reply.
Sorry, Prabhuji.
The answer is known, but the problem is acceptance. Pranav, what is the answer?
Yes, Prabhuji. It is the only way to get the deliverance from the vices of age of.
Don't explain. Give me the answer.
Those who
They
don't,
are asking who is there.
they are full, Prabhuji. Those who don't,
Huh?
the fools only.
And who is that fool? He is to be found somewhere else.
Non-devotees, Prabhuji.
And who is the greatest of non-devotee?
Our mind, Prabhuji.
Ourself.
Ourselves.
Self. They are asking, who is there? Desiring deliverance from the vice of the ages of God. Actually, we don't qualify here because we are not even desiring deliverance. Are we actually desiring deliverance in our heart? Pranav, are you actually desiring deliverance?
No, Prabhuji.
So even we are one step below than that fool that you are asking. Because our blindness and our madness is so much that still we are desiring material gains or material well-being. We are not desiring deliverance from the vice of the age of Kali. So see the glory of hearing. See Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Here also and 2 verses back, it was mentioned that Yannam Vivasho Grihnan. And here also they are saying that Yashaha Shunayat Yasho Kali Malapaha. So right in the first chapter, in the first inquiries, the glory of Shravan. So they know how much mature they are in their understanding. And they are prepared to hear, as I said, for 1,000 years. Because they are saying, who is that foolish person? Because they were actually desiring the deliverance from the vices or the influence of the age of Kali. So they are willing. They are willing to hear for a prolonged time. So Prabhupada says in the purport, the age of Kali is the most condemned age due to its quarrelsome features. Kali Yuga is so saturated with vicious habits that there is a great fight at the slightest misunderstandings. So many times we have seen that on the road people are moving unknown, never met each other, never known each other, neither having any friendship or enmity with each other. But what happens? One is driving and the other is also driving. And just because of traffic or because of someone's not other person driving properly, their cars or their bikes, they collide. And what happens? There is immediate road rage. Have you heard what is road rage? And they even kill each other. So this is the feature of this age. Due to its quarrelsome feature, it is saturated with vice habits. And there is a great fight in the slightest misunderstanding. So there is slightest misunderstanding. The person whose car gets hit, he feels that the other person has hit him intentionally. And he feels that he himself is the car. Why you hit me? Have you heard? How dare you hit me? You have become so gross, so much saturated in ignorance that you identify yourself with car. And every car has insurance. I remember few years back, I was coming from Nizamuddin railway station and it was raining. And you know, when it is raining, brakes sometimes do not work. Even if you apply brake, it does not work. So Nitin was driving and I was in the back seat. He applied brake, but the car did not stop. 2-3 times he applied brake, and ultimately it went and hit the car which was in the front. So immediately that person in the front, he stopped the car. And we were also forced to stop the car because we didn't want to hit it again. And we came down. And again, he was very furious. And he was telling me, "Well, Nuksan, you have done so much of damage." I said, "Cool down." So he said, "The damage which has been done, who will pay?" I said, "Don't worry. We have insurance company. Do you have insurance in your car?" He said, "Yes." So I said, "Please, you make use of it. What is the purpose of insurance? Why are you so much disturbed?" And somehow he came to his senses and he said, "मुझे नुकसान नहीं होना चाहिए." I said, "तुम्हें नुकसान नहीं होगा. Don't worry, you take my number. If you have anything left, you call me, I promise you. And if you don't get paid, then we will speak. Why you are unnecessarily getting disturbed? Why you are increasing your BP?" But most of the time we are completely blinded, even on slightest of misunderstanding. So those who are engaged in the pure devotional service of the Lord, who are without any desire for self-aggrandizement, and who are freed from the effects of fruitive actions and dry philosophical speculations, are capable of getting out of the estrangements of this complicated. So many important aspects Srila Prabhupada is saying here. Those who are engaged in pure devotional service, without desire for self-aggrandizement, free from effects of fruitive actions, dry philosophical speculation. So these are all malapaha. These are all impurities. These are all anarthas. These are all material conditionings. So then only, so this is the difficulty in this age of Kali, that it is so complex that the living being in the human form of life is trapped from one impediment. If he is freed from one, he is caught by the other. Prabhupada is naming them. Big sharks in this material ocean. Impossible to save ourselves from self-aggrandizement. You know what is self-aggrandizement? Prabhupada uses this word, this term many times. What is self-aggrandizement? If you will carefully read Prabhupada's purport, your English will become very high class. I remember many years back when I was working. So I gifted one copy of Bhagavad Gita to my boss. And he has passed from St. Stephen's. You know, St. Stephen's is one of the most prestigious colleges where English is considered to be really high level and high class. And he told me, he did not understand much Gita, but he told me that, "Boss, ये English बहुत बढ़िया लिखे हैं founder आचार्य. उनका English बहुत अच्छा है. His English is impeccable." So he was able to appreciate the English of Srila Prabhupada. So that is also glorious. Whatever you appreciate of a pure devotee. So what is the self-aggrandizement? Without the desire for self-aggrandizement. Find out. While you are studying Prabhupada's purport, you should keep dictionary with you. And when you find the word which you do not know, you should look at the meaning. Gradually, your appreciation for Srila Prabhupada's purport will become even more deeper. So the leaders of the people are very much anxious to live in peace and friendship. But they have no information of the simple method of hearing the glories of the Lord. Prabhupada is giving a very, very revolutionary statement. I am reading it again. Please have attention. The leaders of the people are very much anxious to live in peace and friendship, but they have no information of the simple method of hearing the glories of the Lord. So the peace and friendship in the society is only possible when one comes and hears the glories of the Lord. On the contrary, such leaders are opposed to the propagation of the glories of the Lord. In other words, the foolish leaders want to completely deny the existence of the Lord. In the name of secular state, such leaders are enacting various plans every year. But by the insurmountable intricacies of the material nature of the Lord, all these plans for program are being constantly frustrated. What is the verse? Again, it is from 9th chapter. All the plans, all the desires, all the actions, everything is frustrated.
Mogasha, Moga Karma, Moga Jnanam Chet.
Yes, very good. There's Moga Asha. All the desires. Moga means they are baffled in their desires. Mogasha, Moga Karmana. In their actions also, whatever they are performing, it will lead to frustration and suffering. Mogasha, Moga Karmana, Moga Jnana Vichetasa. And all knowledge or learning that they are having, it is only going to bewilder them. Why? Because they have taken shelter of not the Supreme Lord and His pure devotees. Rakshasim Asurim Cheva Prakriti Mohini Mashrita. They are under the clutches of the three modes. They have no eyes to see that their attempts at peace and friendship are failing. But here is the hint to get over the hurdle. If you want actual peace, we must open the road of understanding of the Supreme Lord Krishna and glorify Him for His virtuous activities as they are depicted in the pages of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Okay, I'll stop here. At least you want to have the continuation, not want to break it. So the sages, once the person speaks, as soon as the person speaks, you come to know of his consciousness. You come to know where he stands. Yeah, in normal terms, how much water is there below his feet? Kitne pani mein hai? You come to know. So you see the depth of understanding the sages have. They were no fools that at once, as soon as Suta Goswami appeared, they declared him to be the leader. 88,000 sages and having no disagreement, no conflict. Saunak Rishi is saying that Suta Goswami has appeared and everyone is agreeing. How they are agreeing? See the maturity and the depth of knowledge, understanding and realization that they have. So in our case also, how we can follow in the footsteps of the sages? Yeah, how we can follow in the footsteps of the sages? I am asking each one of you. Dayashil Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we can hear Prabhuji, together we can hear. We should hear together. Like the sages, they used to hear together, Prabhuji. And we should have friendship among us for a common goal, for encouraging.
We have to have friendship. If we are hearing together, friendship will naturally come. But most important thing is, we should be giving the most important focus and priority to the program of hearing Yasho Murare. the glorification of the Supreme Lord. Nothing else in this world. What are the other impediments? We heard so many. The self-aggrandizement program comes in the way. Every time this self-aggrandizement program will come in the way. When we are not wanting to hear the Yashogan of the Supreme Lord, we want our Yash. Ebe Yash. Why Krishna's Yash and Krishna's pure devotee should be propagated in the world? What about me? What about my Yash? So he has no time for hearing. He has his own self. How many of us are hearing? In Mantra of Life, how many members you have, Ganesh? More than 300?
Yes, Prabhuji, more than 300.
Yeah. And how many are hearing? Not even 10. Hardly 10. So what is the reason? The reason has been diagnosed. Self-aggrandizement program. Then fruitive desires. Then dry speculation. So all these are big obstacles. How to dismantle them? By having a dedicated program of hearing. So it is Kali Malapaha. Shunayat. This is the key message today. Shunayat Kali Malapaha. Just by this simple, Prabhupada is saying that today's leader, they are completely blind. They do not know. That the progress and prosperity will come only by the program of hearing. This is very important message. Okay, I'll stop here. And shortly you will be traveling. Where are you now today, Pranab?
Prabhuji, my leave is rejected, Prabhuji.
I told you to call me.
And I did not meet him.
Huh?
I did not go to Badarpur, my headquarters, Prabhuji. So I did. My is rejected.
We discussed something now.
There is no Prabhuji.
Okay, if you have decided on your own, then what can I say? Up to you. Okay, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees.